good evening. Welcome to the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank. I'm Jared Floyd, and happy Monday evening to everyone. Camera angle may be a little different today because, well, I was successful in installing a new monitor mount. So now all the monitors are kind of secured together, which looks really, really cool from my vantage point. It did involve some tweaks to the camera angles, so those may be, I'm looking almost up at you now. But as I've said with a lot of the stuff with the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank, nothing is permanent at this point, except for this desk mount. That's pretty darn permanent. Drilled a hole in the desk. The plus side to it is everything's situated the way I want. The bad side to it is the eyesight can't be good because, I mean, these monitors are right in my grill for severe weather. So that's good and bad. Look at the visible satellite. And another bad thing with daylight saving time ending is it obviously gets dark earlier. It's almost 5 o'clock, and it's actually right at 5 o'clock. It's already getting dark outside, so we lose the visible satellite earlier. The plus side to that is there wasn't really anything to show with the visible satellite today anyway, because we saw nothing but sunshine. Radar Products is always made possible by Brown's Roofing. Shows absolutely nothing. And that's going to be the trend for the rest of the week, at least. The small rain chances on Friday, and that's about it. Hello, Mr. Greg. I just saw your better half. Temperatures are in the low to mid 60s across the area. It was a pretty mild day across most of the ArkLaMiss. A lot of us were in the upper end of the 60s late this afternoon, touching near the 70-degree mark. But obviously, we're hitting those high temperatures earlier because of the time change. Typically, we would be landing daytime highs in the 3 to 4 o'clock time frame. Now it's more like 2, 3 o'clock because, again, as you hit 4 o'clock, the sun's starting to set and temperatures are starting to kind of peak and cool off a little bit. So, again, time change does a number on everything. It also does a number on when we get our latest model data. It actually does some favors for us. I get some of the more important data earlier in the day. So, thumbs up there. Dew points are in the upper 40s to low 50s. It's a pretty dry environment, and the wind speeds are fairly light. Sets the stage for winds to stay quiet and light as we head through the late night hours tonight. In fact, I would expect calm winds, and that's going to allow temperatures to fall pretty quickly. Hello, Nephew Cooper on YouTube. Don't forget, we do all these lives daily on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and X, just in case you're joining us for the first time. Futurecast made possible by Bayou Power Sports I-20 Frontage Road in Monroe shows the cloud cover really doesn't return until Wednesday. I've kind of zoomed us all the way to Friday morning when we have this weak cold front start to approach the area. Could bring some small rain chances in then. That boundary moves through. We'll probably have another one at some point in the weekend. It's looking more and more like late Saturday or more like early Sunday morning before that front moves through, kind of clears us out for the early parts of next week. The big takeaway is that the series of fronts and boundaries that we're dealing with this weekend don't look to have a lot of moisture to work with, so it really doesn't drive a lot of significant rain chances. And then beyond that, we take a dip temperature-wise. Look at some of the forecast highs, and I'm in super fast motion because I really want to go out in time and look at afternoon highs. Again, by Thursday afternoon, we're in the upper 70s. A lot of spots could be back near 80 degrees. Friday, we will be in the low end of the 80s in many spots. Saturday, even with that weak boundary on Friday, still mid to upper 70s to near 80 degrees, so it doesn't really make that much of a difference. And then that Sunday cold front knocks us down a few degrees. A lot of us are in the upper 60s to near 70. And again, this is really early in the process. And then there's kind of the much colder air mass that sinks in, or the colder, the deeper, more dense air mass starts to move into the region early next week, and that could knock highs back into the 50s and 60s in many spots. Morning lows back into the 40s during that stretch too. So this pattern of unseasonably warm temperatures is somewhat prolonged, but we do kind of see an end to it, which is a little bit of good news there. And most of next week could be a little on the cool side, at least the early half. Look at the mid-level winds. This is a smidge different than what I showed you earlier, but it kind of shows us the same general process. Ridge of high pressure will get kind of sandwiched off to the south. It keeps us warm through the early to middle parts of this week, but then this weekend it allows for the weak boundary that moves through the area on Friday, which really kind of bypasses us to the north, and then perhaps a better quality, deeper chunk of colder air gets attached to that to the upper level pattern and then starts to get sent our direction as we head toward the end of the weekend. And then once we get beyond that, early parts of next week, it still looks like we could get into this northwesterly flow aloft, which could bring some cool air into the area, but that's obviously going to be dry air. It doesn't really focus a lot of rain chances in our region. But also, in all fairness, we're talking 8-9 days out at this point, and a lot can change between now and then. Lows tonight will be in the low end of the 40s. Upper 30s are not out of the question for some. Clear skies and obviously chilly. If you do have outdoor plants that you just absolutely can't have any kind of frost formation, if you want to err on the side of caution, you may want to bring them inside tonight. I don't expect frost to be a widespread issue, but there are some outlying areas that could still see that 37, 38 degree mark overnight, so be aware of that. Hello, May. Good evening to you as well. Low to mid 70s as we head through the daytime hours tomorrow, so temperatures probably aiming for about a 30 to 35 degree swing through the afternoon. So obviously a very dry environment, cools down quickly at night, but it warms up, especially with the right combination of winds, and those return to the south as we go through the day tomorrow. Look at the 7-day forecast made possible by 3B Hardware. Above average temperatures Thursday, Friday. Again, we should start to see a cooling trend start as early as Sunday, but really more impactful by the early parts of next week. Rain chances are back in on Friday, but they are minuscule. And again, temperatures look to trend above average through at least the early half of the weekend, maybe the latter half of the weekend trending smidge closer to normal for this time of year. Ethel, good evening to you as well. Morning lows will climb from the 40s back to low 60s on Friday, and then falling back into the 50s for the remainder of the weekend. Again, pretty quick look at the forecast because there's just not a whole lot going on, and I don't see the point. 7, almost 8 minutes is more than enough to tackle the forecast in this kind of pattern. We could really deep dive into a bunch of really nerdy stuff, but again, it's just going to tell us the same thing. It's dry, it's quiet, and we are awaiting kind of another pattern change that can bring some rain chances back into the forecast. Your fish and game forecast comes out at 8 p.m. tonight. And beyond that, I'll join you first thing tomorrow morning with a look at temperatures and kind of awaiting the changes that could be headed our direction early parts of next week. But again, in the short term, no severe weather threats, no real big rain threats over the next week to 10 days. And we just kind of watch and wait and see from there. Of course, download the Digital Weather Desk app. It's available for Apple and Android users. Get the forecast directly tied to your location. Sign up for all your alerts. Get all those set up as well. Of course, the forecast is always available at digitalweatherdesk.com. Sometimes the mouth just doesn't want to work on a Monday. Totally understandable. And that's it. That's a look at the forecast. Like I said, not a whole lot to it, but we got some stuff accomplished today. The Digital Weather Desk is slightly more organized and has slightly more space. It's roomy in here now. But not that much because I got a lot of stuff going on one tiny desk. We'll join you first thing tomorrow morning. As always, thanks so much for stopping by. We're glad you're here. And as soon as this video is done formatting, it'll be available for you to review at your leisure. And if anything crazy happens in the meantime, we'll let you know. Thanks so much for stopping by the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank. And enjoy the rest of your Monday.